we're running.
Oh my God.
Hello, people. I'm here with the Trevmeister, Baron von Trevhausen, the Trev Man. Trevor Wilkinson, who makes the little metally bits on guitars, as you know them. Apparently there are different words for them, but I don't know.
Saddles, yeah, different words. Whatever you want.
I sometimes really struggle finding the words. When I'm looking for the word saddles, I'm struggling. There's this one little step that my brain has to do that, just like certain words, do you guys have this, that certain words in your brain take long? Driveway.
Okay.
Interestingly, in German and English, to the word for driveway, when I'm looking for that word, my brain has to stop and get it from
And
somewhere.
reverse it.
I don't know. But yeah, saddles, right there, nut. Always the same thing.
Well, some people call saddles nuts because they refer to it on intonation. So a nut is at the end of that intonation and a saddle is at this intonation. So sometimes they will call an acoustic saddle a nut or vice versa.
That's really confusing.
Yeah.
But every time I want to say the word nut, which actually in German is called, is it Sattel? It might actually be the reverse.
I think it is.
Which makes it really fucking complicated.
It does, yeah. But it's the things on the end of guitars.
He
Make
makes
your strings ring.
He makes the things on the ends of guitars that make your strings ring.
Because if your strings don't connect to your guitar doesn't sound as good as it could.
And that's what he does. And he's been doing it for years. He's innovated, and most importantly, he's doing it in a price range that actually allows the guitars that you can afford to have his hardware on it. It's very easy to make ridiculously milled stainless steel mastered hardware for hundreds of dollars, but realistically, if you make something that costs you $150 to make, on the actual guitar, it'll be $600.
Correct. That's a basic rule of thumb that most guitar companies work with.
And then it's a guitar, if only the bridge is $600, the guitar will be $6,000, which is fine, and some of you can afford that, but he's striving to make good things at the end of the strings for your guitar that actually can be installed on guitars for €300-400 and still does the job extremely well. That's your main goal.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer because, I manufacture things all over the world at different price points. The same operations are needed to create anything that you do, like a vibrato bridge. It's a set of saddles, nuts, whatever you want to call them. It's a top plate. It's a block. Some people call it a sustain block or a spring block or whatever it is, inertia block. All those things have to be made basically the same way. They can be cast or they can be machined. So you go through the same processes, but you've still got to achieve quality. And that's the hardest part, is getting the quality at the lower price as well as the high price.
At the lower price, anyone can do quality at a high price.
They should be able to.
Yeah.
If they're not doing it, they're not doing it right. So high price products, great. But does it do the job? Does it do the job 10 times better because it costs 10 times more? And then again, in our industry, sound is so subjective. You can't prove to somebody one guitar sounds better than another. It's in your ears. If you hear it, great. If you don't,
it's not in my rear.
But that's it, isn't it? For an industry that exists on sound, we buy with our eyes.
Oh, so much. Yeah.
So much, and sometimes it gets frustrating.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. And not talking about our size, you fuckers. We made the video about the Clippy Wiggly. I would call it the Floydy, but he doesn't want me to call it that because, that's
a brand name.
That's a different name.
Floyd is a brand name.
So can we call it the Clippy Wiggly, or what's the actual name?
Actually, it's a WLS 132P. That's a long name.
While you said that, I fell asleep.
For wake up. Basically, it's just a concept where the string at the intonation point on the saddle is actually locked directly at the intonation point. And it was a concept I came up with a long, long time ago. And it's come to fruition because of requests by guitar companies that said, I'm still having a problem. There's no doubt about it that what Floyd did really works when it's set up well and it's machined correctly and it's a high quality Floyd. No question of it. To me, with all the respect in the world, that was an awful lot of trouble to go to keep people in tune. And I went down the different route. I went down the roller nut route and all those kind of things. I was the guy that told you didn't have to have a toolkit to restring your guitar. So I was a little bit kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Apprehensive, not a little bit reluctant to actually say to you, you're going to have to use a wrench. One small Allen wrench. But it takes 2 seconds to do, and it's the most elegant solution I think you can have.
But
to get rid of that problem.
But you can't get rid of the problem if you can't fucking buy it. And I know, so
You go there.
but we have to go there because we made.
I want you to go there. I want you to go.
We made the video, we showed the thing, and then under that video, which got a lot of clicks, you guys are saying, but I want it, and we can't buy it, and they're just holding it back to make the prices go up, which is, of course, all bullshit. We had this little pandemic thing, and then we had a problem with the supply chain and all of this. So he's the last guy that wants to bring up the prices of something by limiting stock. That's utter bullshit. It just wasn't happening with the situation. Let's actually grab one. So this is what we're talking about, and you actually also can get, and that's the really amazing thing, replace. We changed sides.
Oh, that's nice.
It's like that feels strange.
Right.
Now.
Professional.
So you can actually get the saddles
Correct.
by themselves
Correct.
to replace your standard vintage whatever tremolo.
Yep.
Right. So if you want the clippy locky thing, wait, Michiel, putting it right here. Can you get that? So that's what the individual saddles look like. And if you want the whole bridge, that feels.
It's actually a vintage style bridge with the 6 holes, but yet with putting these saddles on it, now you've got a vintage bridge with all its attributes, all its sound quality that everybody expects from that kind of 1954 design, but it won't stay in tune. But now it will. It's as simple as that. Watch a video on YouTube with Phil X. Phil X is wailing away on an old Strat that he's got, like a kind of like single pickup, sort of like Frankenstein guitar.
But the thing is,
it just doesn't go out of tune.
But Phil X could be completely out of tune and would still sound fucking good.
And the nice thing about it is when he ends, he smiles and he's still in tune.
So this is a vintage style with 6 screws. You could replace them with on a dual blade system, and probably. Do you sell this and then also do blades?
Yeah, we've got this. This is called a VS54 Modern, which is actually a change to the original one that we do, which is a VS54 original style, made to the exact specs from Leo Fender. And this is exactly the same bridge. This sounds exactly as a 54 bridge should. It works exactly as a 54 bridge should. Does it stay in tune? No. Not like I would like it to.
A slight vibrato, maybe? Not vibrato. Tremor. No, vibrato.
It's very vibrato.
It's not a tremolo. It's not a.
This does not change the volume of your guitar. You know the difference, don't you?
Well, if I do this and then I wiggle the volume too.
Yeah, no, that's two. That's 2 separate things. This does not change the volume.
Does it do a wah-wah sound?
Not a tremolo, no.
Wait. Let me see. Wah, 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 wah.
This one might when you play it. But this now will stay in tune. That's the difference. So we do this. If you're the original guy, we do this. That's what started. 2-pivot
the two-blade
is
thing.
the ultimate return to zero.
But I saw a different 2-blade thing here. Wait, what is this? What's going on? Oh no, that's something different. How do you remember all these numbers? Why don't you give them names like Frank and Harry and?
Well, you'd forget them. Basically, it's like WLS 132p. Okay, Wilkinson lock-in saddle, WLS. 130 is the name of the bridge because it's an extension of 100, and then 2p is 2-pivot.
It's a Wi-Fi password, Trevor. Come on, that's a password, not a name.
I have to remember things by what the designation is. That's it.
The big question is now: can we buy this? We all want it, but can we get it?
I really do feel for people because what you say is true. Why on earth would we stop you from buying something? Come on, we're in a business. We all like making money. No way in the world would I make something a shortage of something because I'd like to get the money. So we have supply issues. We said when we met at the beginning of the show, if Mercedes can't get chips for their cars and they can't produce cars, we're a little guy.
What kind of chips do you have in here?
We don't have any chips, just some fish.
So, biggest question to everyone out there.
He said it was humorous, didn't he?
The new iPhone was just announced. When are you going to put Bluetooth in this?
Been thinking about it, but a little while yet.
Humor. This is awesome. I would absolutely want to check this out and replace a couple of things on guitars. Biggest endorsement, obviously, Phil X. Fuck him, what does he know? Love you, Phil. It's on Pete Thorne's guitars now?
Yeah.
Stock, right?
Pete Thorne did basically the shakedown tests. When I showed it to John Sir, he said, this looks really good. He put it on Pete Thorne's guitar. Pete Thorne went out with like 8 months on tour, and you know he's a serious player. And he can't afford to be out of tune. And he just came back and he just said, this is the deal. This, I've never stayed in tune like this before, and it sounds good too. I'm into it. And that was it. And it took off from there.
Then you know you want it. I know I want it. And you can actually replace the saddles on your old trem with these without really doing any massive work that should be...
American standard Strat with the offset intonation points. We make it fit PRS. We make it fit anything at 10.5 to any spacing. The nice thing about the saddles is it doesn't matter what your string spacing is. If you've got it on a bridge at 10.5, 10.8 or 11.27, which is vintage, because if you've got the string coming out of the hole in the block and through the plate, when that saddle is on, you don't need tracks to stop the saddle from moving. Once you've clamped the string, the saddle's locked. So you don't need it. It can be any spacing you want it. It can accommodate the spacing on your bridge, and you'll never get saddle movement.
So if you have a bigger bridge and there is a little bit of play, that play stops once the string is in it.
Correct.
As if I know things.
How long have you been doing this for?
A long time. The amazing thing is, and that's why I love videos with Trevor, is I learn something about the functionality of guitar systems every time. He taught me things about the tally bridge with the shared saddle thing, which I now reference in videos. I love this. I learn something all the time. So if you only buy the saddles, what's the price point?
$99.
If I buy the whole thing?
Some people, it's about $299. I mean, the thing is some people would go, $99 for a set of saddles, wow. The other day, we had a gentleman come in on Reverb, because we do have stock at the moment on Reverb. He bought 10 sets. You do not spend $1,000 on 10 sets of saddles if they don't work.
Oh, absolutely. And realistically, if we're looking at the competition, you know I'm a big Graphtec fan. The String Saver saddles from Graphtec, who don't clippy-clocky, I think they're the same price or even more. I mean, it's
probably pretty close.
This is what a good set of saddles, which Graphtec makes and he does too, will cost you. Okay, so don't go like, oh my God, I don't want. No, this is really good, and if you can actually take your Strat and replace your saddles with the clippies from, I don't know.
Two things you should never buy. You should never buy a BLO or a GLO. And a BLO is a bridge-like object, and a GLO is a guitar-like object.
Buy the real thing. Like when I was at the British Boutique Guitar Festival in February, this one builder put some kind of Chinese OEM thing on his guitar, and I wiggled it and broke the trem arm off. And all of a sudden, I was the bad guy who broke his guitar.
And how much was the guitar?
The guitar was probably like $2,500.
That shouldn't happen, should it?
You put good shit on your guitars. It's that simple. Good shit, man.
Is that what I am now? Good shit, man.
Trevor Wilkinson, good shit, man.
Thank you, man. I always rely on you.
So I put this back. Now you know the full story of the clippies. I don't remember what it's called. WLS Clip It. I don't know.
Let's call it a lock-in saddle.
The lock-in saddle. Trevor had a great idea to invite me to England, hang out with him, and go through his drawers. Not in his bedroom, in the shop. Okay, with everybody looking, and then we go to the other. No, and actually see all the stuff that maybe never made it that he's been working on.
Working prototypes, things to prove concepts. I'm a big believer in doing that.
Because for everything that you see at the booth, there's probably 10 in the drawer that never made it.
Correct.
So that would be a comment. If that would be an interesting video
to see.
Because I would have to pack my bags, get a camera, go to England, eat fish and chips, and do all of this. And who knows what's going to be in England now, because there's, a move in leadership. Who knows? On both ends, So we're going to move on. Thank you so much, Trevor.
Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure making videos with you.
Thanks to all you guys.
Comment below. Thanks to... I got to see the whole title.
Go on then.
The Reverend Laird Michiel Possenier, former mayor of Hell, Scrum Master with a PDF to prove it, behind the camera.
Oh, nice.
Animals at the end.